Hey guys, welcome to today's mostly daily vlog. I was up doom scrolling last night because, that's how the human brain works. I mean, I tend to doom scroll anyway about, climate change and all the other, the pandemic that's still going on, despite idiots saying like, oh, it's over, even as people continue to drop like flies, just stupid people. But, as someone who cares deeply about sex ed and, the healthcare of people with uteruses, women and, trans men and, stuff like that. Obviously, it behooves me to talk about what everyone's talking about, in the US at least. The drafted Supreme Court decision by Alito, who is pretty much one of the most far-right Supreme Court justices. And of course, during Trump's reign, they stole 2 seats. They elected a rapist. They elected a religious zealot. They elected Gorsuch, who, compared to the other 2, is the most temperate, but he still stole Merrick Garland's spot. Which, Merrick Garland has been a pretty shitty AG, letting all the Republicans who, literally created and organized the January 6th insurrection get off for some fucking reason. I don't know. But yeah. I mean, Jesus, where do I start? So, necessary caveat, I am just a regular person. I'm not an expert on any of this. I'm a political junkie. I watch a lot of, MSNBC and read, New York Times and Washington Post and Atlantic and listen to NPR and, try to be politically informed, but I am not an expert. I just have some thoughts. I'm 36 years old. I can still have kids. I don't plan to have any more kids. I have the 2, and as soon as Aiden was born, my husband got a vasectomy. He actually wanted to get one basically as soon as I was pregnant with Aiden, but I was like, just in case something goes wrong, don't get snipped yet, because I really want to have 2 kids, because I was raised an only child and it's very lonely. So, but vasectomies fail. I mean, my husband himself was a vasectomy baby. I have a friend who has a vasectomy baby where it was actually, they wanted another baby, but he had already had a vasectomy before he married her, but she ended up pregnant anyway. That's the thing, vasectomies fail. I still think they're a rather good option, other than just putting all the onus on the person with the uterus to do birth control, because condoms definitely fail too. Not to mention all the guys who slip condoms off, or use old condoms, or just terrible shit like that. And yet somehow it's always the one with the uterus that gets stuck with all the shit, all the fallout. Interesting. So anyway, yeah, stuff like that happens. I actually made notes of what I wanted to talk about, which I almost never do. I usually just completely freewheel, not freebase, freewheel my vlogs. But yeah, so it's, the reason I care so much about this is not so much for me. I mean, I could get raped, or vasectomy. I live in a blue state, so until the Supreme Court completely outlaws abortion in the whole country, which, they're also trying to do, I'm safe. But all these people stuck in these fucking piece of shit red states that have already been restricting abortion access. I mean, John Oliver has done maybe multiple. I know he's done at least one thing about just the twisted way, like, oh, this abortion clinic isn't ADA compliant because the hallways aren't wide enough, therefore we're going to shut the whole thing down. Like, just crazy bullshit like that. You know, they've been doing it for a long time, but, you know, this opinion comes out and it's not official yet, but as a lot of the political pundits who've been talking about this, you know, over the last 24 hours have pointed out, it kind of fucks us over, because now the ego-driven justices are going to be like, well, if I change the opinion, then I'm giving in to the far left radicals, therefore I can't possibly change my opinion. I mean, honestly, like, the far right religious zealots on the court were never going to not vote in every way that they could to abolish abortion. But one thing that is shocking about this opinion is that it goes so far. It's not just chipping away at abortion. It's just straight up saying no more abortion. You know, it's not a right anymore. It's up to the states if they want to do it. But what's crazy is that the way that the decision is written also opens up discussion on gay marriage and birth control access, and, you know, possibly even not allowing different people of different races to get married, which is pretty ironic for fucking Clarence Thomas, who's also a right-wing judge, to be supporting this, because he's married to a white woman. But, you know, just like Candace Owens and all these other fucking idiot people of color, you know, I never thought they'd eat my face, as a woman who voted for the party of lepers that eat faces. You know, it opens the door wide open on that. And, man, what the thing that, you know, the thing that's so horrible about this is that all these Republican states already had trigger laws in place where basically the second they're not required to have abortion as an option, these horrible, draconian, you know, very misogynistic, anti-women, anti-people with uteruses laws go into place, where there's no allowance for rape. There's no allowance for ectopic pregnancies, where, like, the egg is, like, in the fallopian tube, or it's just, you know, it's placed somewhere where not only is it not going to grow into a baby that can, you know, that can live, but it can very well kill the mother, which I'll get to in a minute. There's also no allowance for, you know, developing fetuses that are missing organs. Gonna be born with half a head, gonna be born without a heart, you know, completely unviable options. Fetuses that will never be, you know, I'm not talking about, like, people with Down syndrome and stuff. Like, yes, they, you know, they should have the right to exist, obviously. I'm talking about literally babies that are going to die within hours of being born, if not sooner. And that's one of the most horrible things. These fucking crazy ass Republican states that are passing all these anti-abortion things are literally not letting mothers abort dead fetuses. There are laws already in place and set to go into power as soon as they can, where a mother can have a baby die inside of her, and she's not allowed to get an abortion to get the baby out. She has to carry a dead fetus to term. Can you imagine? Can you imagine having a dead baby inside of you? And having to have it in you for months, praying that you have a miscarriage. Although, of course, some of these fucking Republican states will literally put a woman on trial for murder for having a miscarriage. It's fucking insane. And, you know, all these fucking pro-life people who don't vote for prenatal care, who don't give a shit about the baby once it's born, who don't even fund, prenatal care for moms to have, regular checkups to make sure that stuff's right and everything like that, because they're fucking crazy. Like, oh yay, babies win. Again, rape victims, ectopic pregnancies that will kill the mother, babies being born with missing internal organs, and women being forced to carry a dead baby inside of them. Good job, pro-life people. Good job, christofascists. I wasn't planning to get emotional on this. I can't stop thinking about 10-year-old girls getting raped by their fathers. Women knowing they're going to die as this baby grows in them. And women carrying dead babies inside of them because of fucking christofascist Republicans. There's more I wanted to say in this video, and I'm trying to get to it, but I just want every pro-life fucking piece of shit to think about that. Think about a 10-year-old girl raped by her father, forced to carry a baby to term. Think about a baby being born without internal organs. Think about a mother forced to carry a dead baby in her stomach to term. That's what you accomplished. Good job. And I mean, it doesn't even have to be an extreme case like that. Imagine forcing a child into existence that's not going to have adequate food, that's not going to be loved, that's going to be resented by how it ruined people's lives. And it's not the baby's fault. It's not the baby's fault that they were so unwanted. But can you imagine being born to someone who had their life ruined because you were born and they just did not have the resources to take care of you? Can you imagine being born into that? And of course, these fucking pro-lifers saying, well, she should have kept her legs shut. Takes two to tango. How about you keep your fucking dick in your pants? Because how many pro-lifers are fucking men, have fucking penises, do not have uteruses, are never going to face what it's like to be stuck having a baby, are never going to be stuck with it. You need to shut up and sit the fuck down. It is not your decision. It is not your decision. Get a fucking vasectomy. Get your fucking dick cut off for all I care. You want to stop unwanted babies from being born? Get castrated. Uh-oh, my video is going to be reported for hate speech. I'm suggesting it. I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying if you, as a dick haver, are truly concerned about unwanted babies being born in the world, do the world a favor and make sure you never, ever spawn an unwanted child being born. It's only fair, right? You're telling women they don't deserve personhood. Or these fucking idiots that are like, how about instead I get a vasectomy? Which is a fucking snip snip. I mean, literally, my husband and I filmed a video right after he did the vasectomy to tell people, it's really not a big deal. It hurts for a couple of days and then you're over it. It is reversible. It's like fixing a cat. It's not a big deal. They're like, well, why didn't she just get a hysterectomy? Hysterectomies, first of all, are not reversible. It's also scooping out an entire uterus. It is scooping out an organ. To compare that to getting some tubes tied. Fucking men. Just looking at my list. Trying to center myself because there's so much in this. You know, there's other impacts to blasting abortion out of, you know, what's left of access to abortion from these Republican states, is that people are going to be, they're already, you know, flooding the borders, these state borders, to get into non-crazy fucking states where they can get abortions. Like, you know, Texas set their fucking insane shit into motion, and so women were flooding the borders to Oklahoma and other places like that to get abortions. And, you know, especially when they go to these other Republican states, those hospitals are already overwhelmed. Beyond even the pandemic, which, again, still going on, fuckface. These hospitals have been defunded, have been shut down. You know, there's so many rural areas, pretty much in Republican states, but I'm sure it happens in blue states too, where someone has an emergency and they have to drive hours to get to an ER because all the local hospitals were defunded and closed. And now these hospitals and, you know, clinics that people already have to drive hours to get to are continuing to get, and will get a lot more flooded by people coming from out of state, so that people that live in the state are going to have an even harder time finding access. And, you know, another thing about, like, Planned Parenthood and everything like that is that they don't only provide abortions. Again, they provide prenatal care, they provide birth control, they, you know, all these resources, they do so many other kinds of care that, you know, a lot of people don't have access to otherwise. And, you know, so many of these fucking pro-lifers are in these extremely privileged positions where they're just like, oh, it's no big deal to have a baby. I mean, if you really don't want to just have it and put it up for adoption. It's like, do you think a baby just, like, grows on its own and pops out no problem? You have no fucking idea what goes into pregnancy. You have no fucking idea how painful childbirth is. You have no fucking idea how medical debt explodes with giving birth. I mean, we had health insurance in my husband's employment that he paid, you know, hundreds of dollars a check for each month of coverage, and we still had to pay thousands. And for a lot of people, thousands of dollars is a big fucking deal. And that's with insurance. Without insurance, we're talking tens of thousands. You know, I saw a video a while ago that was funny where people were asking, like, people in the UK and stuff, like, how much do you think it costs to have a baby in the US? And they're like, I don't know, 200? It's like, oh, no, we're way more fucked up than that. Not to mention that, you know, like, they think, oh, just put the kid in the foster care. Like, that's just this overall, you know, just easy peasy solution. You think kids put in foster care don't wonder, you know, what happened? Don't think, like, why didn't my mom want me? You think that they don't get abused in a lot of foster care? My dad can tell you lots of stories about him being abused because he was raised in foster care. Again, just the self-centered, just insanity of pro-lifers. Just, it's a baby, it must be born. Don't give a fuck about it before, don't give a fuck about it after, but oh my god, it's a baby, it must be born. Maybe you were born with a few missing body parts. Or spiritual body parts. I don't believe in spirits. I think that humans are biologically based to be horrible, and kindness is taught, kindness is learned. But, what else? One more part I want to talk about before I get to the meat of this video is that all these christofascists, they love to be like, well, I believe that abortion is wrong, therefore no one can get an abortion. You might have heard that one of the foundations of this country, especially from, those who love to bleed about free speech and Second Amendment and all these other things they pretend to support, we have this little thing called freedom of religion. And freedom of religion also means freedom from religion. Just because you, a christofascist, think that abortion is wrong, doesn't mean that the entire country has to live by it. Imagine, and there's lots of people in the country that do feel like this, imagine that your religion said that, women have to cover themselves head to toe. A lot of christofascists would probably be fine with that. Meanwhile, secretly, looking at porn and, paying for their mistresses to have abortions. Imagine that your religion said that you have to get a vasectomy. Well, it's in your religion, therefore you have to and everybody else, right? Oh wait, that's placing controls on the man. Can't have that. No. All the onus of not having babies has to be on the woman, obviously. It's just, it makes no fucking sense. It's insane. It's insane. And the final thing that I want to get to, well, actually, I didn't mention that, conservatives are all like, oh, who made the leak? Who made the leak? What a brooch of the honor of the far-right Supreme Court. What a brooch of honor. The leak isn't the story. As Elizabeth Warren said, the story is what will happen when this decision is officially put in place, because it will be. It will be. We were getting there, we knew that abortion was going to get obliterated, but we didn't think it was going to happen like that. So don't fucking... Who leaked it? It doesn't matter. Who cares? That's not the important part of this. Don't be don't fall for smoke screens. That's not the important thing. Now, the final thing that I wanted to talk about. And again, I'm hesitant to even talk about it because it's going to make this video so easy for false flaggers to say that it's hate speech or whatever. It doesn't even matter what's in the video, as, my band screenshot page, topoftopics.org/band, can show you, literally there can be nothing offensive in the video at all, and it can still get banned thanks to false flaggers. Random aside, but I did make a change.org petition, if you didn't see it, demanding that YouTube provide exact time codes for alleged offending content and to give creators a chance to edit out that content instead of banning the entire video. And, if we can get to 10,000, 100,000 signatures, maybe we can actually force YouTube to actually entertain the idea. If nothing else, maybe we can get some, Medium articles written about it, and Huffington Post and Washington Post or whatever write about this, and maybe that forces YouTube to stop being so fucking fascist. I don't know. But if you want to sign that petition, you can go to topoftopics.org/endbans for the easy link, or you can look in the description of this video and I'll put the change.org link. I can't put the link to my website because YouTube hit me with a strike for linking to a page that linked to a page that had an embedded tweet that auto-generated a thumbnail that had female nipples in it. And YouTube hit me with a strike saying I was linking to porn. So that's insane. But whatever, fuck it. Like I said, it doesn't matter what's in the video. If it gets false flagged by haters, down it goes. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Isn't that how the chipper famous YouTubers begin their videos? Mustn't forget, smash that like button. Liking a video like this is weird, but likes do make videos show up on search results more. My videos are predominantly shadow banned anyway, so, you know, the chances of them showing up are pretty low. So if you think this is an important video, you got to share it directly. You got to actually link to it to people. Just throwing that out there. The last thing that I want to talk about is, you know, people pointing out the insanity of this abortion restriction, abolishment, are saying, you know, women will die. Women are still going to get abortions. They're just going to have, you know, back alley abortions. They're going to have coat hangers reaching inside of them. They're going to have, you know, homemade toxins trying to force their body to eject the fetus, you know. Women are going to die. And I just don't think that the christofascists care. If they do care, it's with joy. I firmly believe that most, if not all, pro-lifers want women trying to get abortions to die. I mean, look at social media comments on, you know, abortion stuff. So many. She should have kept her legs closed, you know. Well, she deserves to be tried as a murderer. There are anti-abortionists who just straight up say that women that die from abortions deserve it. You know, maybe not all of the anti-abortions will actually say that, but they're certainly not going to cry if a woman tries to get an abortion and dies. I mean, look, they support 10-year-old rape victims being forced to carry to term. They support babies that will not live 10 seconds outside of the womb being forced to get born. They support women being forced to carry dead babies to term. So is it really such a leap of logic that they want women who are trying to get an abortion to die? Is it really that crazy? Is it really that big of a leap? So, if you consider yourself pro-life, think about it. Think about the results of your actions. In the remotest, very, very, very infinitesimal chance that you actually give a shit beyond forcing the birth itself, forcing the birth, donate some of that fucking privilege ass money that makes you feel like, oh, well, you know, if I got pregnant, you know, against my will, it'd be no big deal. Donate that money to prenatal care, to postnatal care, to, you know, feed children that you're forcing to be born into this world. You know, don't just stand behind your screen and be gleeful about 10-year-olds carrying the rapist babies and dead babies, and, you know, don't just sit there and be gleeful. If you actually care, give some fucking money to some fucking services that actually fucking protect the fucking process of fucking growing fucking babies and fucking taking care of the fucking babies after they're born! After they're born. God forbid you actually do anything that actually helps these babies that you care so much about. God forbid you actually do anything to help them. Like I said, to all the pro-lifers out there, think about the consequences. Think about how you could be affected by this. Except for those of you with a penis. Obviously, you'll never have to deal with this. And be so proud of yourself as 10-year-olds are forced to carry rapist babies, and as women are forced to have dead babies in them that they can't get rid of. Be proud of yourself.